Okay. Hi there, I'm Charlotte Gammie. I am 30 years old. I am a midfield player. I live in Dundee and my occupation, I am a marketing and accommodation manager.
So just tell us your journey to playing for Montrose.
So I was actually originally at Montrose prior to this. I did leave for a season and a half to go to Forfar during lockdown, where the top season was they were obviously able to play. So I did do that for experience purposes, and then I returned to play under Craig at Montrose.
And how successful was it?
Yeah, it's been a huge success for Montrose. Obviously from when I first started, that was the first season that I actually played here was when we first actually modelled as a team. So it has to be through the whole kind of career of Montrose and from the very first setup. The achievements that we've actually had within that time is huge. We've had 3 promotions in the whole time we've been here, and we've obviously just had back-to-back there. So it's been phenomenal for the town and the club.
And then obviously we now are in this season Scottish Women's Premier League. So just to confirm, how many full-time clubs out of the 12 are there?
So I think most of them would be full-time, apart from I think just maybe the bottom kind of leagues. You can see that difference with full-time versus part-time, and we feel it as well. So,
and that's what I was going to ask. I mean, obviously first game in the Premier League, all the sort of build up to it. It's going to be on TV, and of course, people who do not understand how women's football, who is full time and exactly where everybody is in terms of performance. Tough start of the season, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we knew, I knew myself with playing in this league before what the jump would be. I don't know if some players maybe underestimated or just didn't know what to expect, whereas I did. But again, it's come on leaps and bounds even since I was playing in that league. So we did know it was going to be tough, but I think maybe going into the first game, we realised how tough it was actually going to be. And we have performed a lot better than we were in the first couple of games. And it is just a case of within the team getting back to the original, and we're obviously signing new players and things like that. So it did take a couple of weeks to get our feet on the ground, and we're taking it from there.
Classic growing pains, wasn't it? That would be the best way to describe it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's one of them. It's until you get used to kind of who you're up against, and I think having Celtic the first game maybe gave us a little bit of a shake. Maybe the shake that we actually needed to realise we're not going to come in here and just kind of swan about. Whereas the season prior, we were undefeated in one season, and in the other one we did kind of run away with it at the end. So I think it was difficult to adjust the way that we were thinking, especially the players that were with us prior.
I mean, like say, we're at this point of the season now, done the double over Dundee United. You're pushing Hearts to a draw. You're seeing improvement, and you're seeing this team grow game after game, irrespective of whether the results are going your way or not. Would you say that's a fair assessment where you are?
Yeah, I think we've done well. There has been games where we would probably kick ourselves looking back now, at points that we've dropped throughout the season that could be and may be vital at the end of the season. We'll never know. So that's why for the next half of the season that we need to work and try and get as many points as we can. But absolutely, some of the games that we've taken points from, like the draw with Hearts, it does prove that when we want to do it, we can.
And for yourself, what have you learned about yourself this season?
It's more confidence for me. Last season I probably had the best season of my career, whereas it's completely kind of turned on its head because I am such an attack-minded player, whereas this season you've had to be a lot more defensive. So I've had to adapt and try and overcome that issue within myself. It's not so much a team. So I have obviously set myself targets, and they are a lot harder to achieve than what they would have been last year. So I just need to keep going.
Sounds like you've got a big influence on yourself.
Yeah, so I do try and look at what I've done in previous seasons. My dad's quite on me at things like that, and he's helped me a huge amount throughout my career. So I do look at how I can improve on each season, and obviously improving on last season is quite difficult with the kind of rates of assists and goals I had, especially being in top league. But all I can do is try and add to my game, whether it's more defensively, and that's what I am looking at.
So your dad's your biggest support, biggest critic?
Yeah, absolutely. He's there when I need him, to be honest. He's always tried to push me as hard as he can. He can be harsh at times, but that's what I've needed, and that's why I'm here in the top league still at the age of 30. So
Must be proud of you.
Yeah, no, he is. I think once it does come to this stage that I do retire, I think he'll be heartbroken. But I think no, he has. He's been a huge helping hand throughout my career. So
Just outside of football, when you've got time on your hands, what are your interests? What keeps you going?
well, when I've got any time outside of football and work, do you know what? It's just spending time with family and friends. To be honest, I think in this league, it is vital to make sure that you do spend the time that you can and just relax a little bit, especially outside of my work. And I've got a little dog as well, so definitely take him to try and play as much as possible.
What type of dog you got?
A miniature dashhound.
And what's the name?
Ralphie.
Ralphie. When you're out with your dog, if you listen to any music, who's on your playlist?
I've actually got quite a mix. It depends what kind of scenario I'm in. So, for example, when I'm working, it is more acoustic to try and calm me down and focus on what I'm doing. Whereas when it is getting ready or prepped for football in my head, it is a little bit more beaty music. So I've got a complete range, to be honest.
Anything that we know, or any names that stick out?
Not necessarily, to be honest. I have a huge playlist, and whatever comes on, I listen to it or just skip. But no, to be honest, I do have quite a range of music that I listen to depending on what kind of situation I'm in. So,
Movies, TV series, anything that you're watching just now or that stand out?
yeah, I actually just watched Fool Me Once, and to be honest, it's one of the best series I've watched in a long time. So, if you're at a loose end, definitely watch that one.
Might give it a look. In terms of holidays, places, where have you been that stood out? Where would you like to go?
Oh, I'm quite the traveller actually. I originally lived in the Middle East prior to actually coming back to Montrose again. So when I was out there, I travelled a lot to like Asia, Sri Lanka and them kind of areas, whereas now I'm more a city break because I don't want to leave my dog for too long. So, but where I'd want to go is probably your Mexicos, Turkeys and things like that, which are obviously the longer journeys, but it's just getting the time to be able to do that.
Get that passport organised then.
Oh yeah, well it's actually expired, so I better.
Thanks, you're welcome for the reminder. So, in terms of this season, you know your teammates, you've got to know them all over a lengthy period of time. If none of you were playing football and you were just catching up as friends in the pub, who would be talking about their time as a comedian?
A comedian, probably Jade, to be honest. I think she is actually quite funny, and she doesn't mean it at times, but she would definitely win that award.
DJ?
Oh, we've got a few actually in the team. Probably George or Amy Cully.
In terms of TV movie star, who's got the look?
Oh, TV movie star. Possibly Neve. I'll give Neve that one.
Entrepreneur, who's got the big idea?
The big idea, to be honest, driven-wise with work, I think Amy Ridgway. She is dedicated in what she does, and she does it really well. So,
in terms of wise woman, who would be the one that you'd go to for advice?
Tammy, for sure. I think she's been through a lot outside of football and obviously in football. The job she obviously carries as well definitely helps. So I would definitely go to her for any advice.
Future coach manager?
Oh, there's a few football coaches actually with us. I'll give Amy Cully probably because that is her role and her background. So. And
last of all, what would you like to say to the supporters and sponsors?
Obviously, we just want to thank you for obviously all your support for the last, not only just this season, but the seasons before. Having sponsors really help us drive to be able to achieve the goals that we do set ourselves at the start of the season. And without you guys, we wouldn't be here.